can hear you call my name. I can hear you call my name. I can hear you call my name. Come to the table, cup runneth over. Come drink your fill and be well. Oh, I can hear you call my name. I can hear you call my name. Oh, I can hear you call my name. You come to the valley, come lay your head down, come rest your feet by the river of life, and come to the pasture, rest by the fire, rest as the wind blows over the plain. I can hear you call my name. I can hear you call my name. I can hear you call my name. Come to the pasture, lie by the river. Come drink your fill and be well. Come to the table, cup runneth over. Come drink your fill and be well.
Welcome. Take a moment to gather yourself into a comfortable position, any position where you feel safe and free to ground into the experience of your divinity. The ever unfolding and ever deepening, the opening of your heart to eternal love. Divine love, true love that transforms you and awakens you to greater awareness of yourself. An awareness of love you carry with you, within you, everywhere you go, a part of you. The feeling of home in your heart that can never leave you and is always beckoning, calling for you to connect. As you connect to your heart in this sacred space, know that the love here is divine and eternal. This heart holds the entirety of all love, teachings, and experiences of the divine that you've encountered. It is safe to ground into peace and relax into ever unfolding integration and understanding. True love is revealing. Allow your heart to open to the greater truth of who you are, the greater truth of your divine nature. Your heart's true desires are holy. Treasure them, nurture them, explore them, engage with every part of you. Welcome, accept, and love every part of you. You are God's one love, one child, worthy and deserving of all love. Embrace your divinity. Embrace the blessing of love that you are in every moment. You are loved beyond measure and beyond time. You are loved completely, divinely, unconditionally, eternally. You are powerful. All fear vanishes when faced with the truth of God's love. When faced with the power of your loving. Everything you need to face every challenge is already within you. Growing, learning, forever triumphant in each faithful leap and each tiny step taken with love. Courage is the choice to place love above fear, no matter the outcome. You have an unlimited capacity for courage to answer the call of love in every area of your life. Your heart is always resilient in God's love. May you forever serve and be served in the healing power of true, unconditional, eternal love.
Hello, I am Kenesha Marie Moore Castillo. I am a longtime student of Jeff and Shaleia, and I will be doing today's card reading. I will be pulling from the Power of Surrender deck, and I have already pre-shuffled. So the first card that we have is Surrender to Your Soul's Path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. Yeah, so what this card is really saying for me is that every lesson, every moment, every person that comes into your life is for your highest growth. And really what is important is to not attach to the lessons that come up through any experience and every experience, because it's only meant for you to go deeper into love. It's only meant for you to go deeper into knowing yourself and expanding and deepening your relationship with God, with the universe. And that it's really important to embrace every lesson and every moment. I find that where I find myself getting frustrated is when I try to blow through the lesson instead of really embracing it and allowing it to show me what my soul needs to learn in this moment. Because when I don't allow myself to move through the lesson, I will move through it again with much more contrast until I decide to surrender and fully heal what comes up in that space for me. And it's always just calling for a deeper level of love, a deeper level of awareness, a deeper level of presence, and allowing myself to just go with the flow of life instead of pushing against it. Knowing again that every lesson and experience is really just meant for me to learn how to trust myself and really be present with myself and allow myself to move in a space of love instead of a space of fear. Our next card is Surrender to Worry. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. Yeah, I find that a lot of our worries really come from a worry of feeling lack, feeling like there is a space of scarcity, whether it comes to finances, a relationship with your finances, a relationship with your family, friends, your significant other, your twin flame. When you allow worry to start to fester in a space, it's asking for your awareness and for your presence to bring love into that space and really allow yourself to look at what is that bad feeling, what doesn't feel good there, and allow yourself to move through it. Again, not to attach to it, but understand that whatever is coming up is just for you to look at, because there's always a lesson at the core of it, always a new awareness at the core of it. And so when you feel worry, I've learned that when I worry, it's because I'm not trusting the process. I'm not trusting my inner work or myself, and I'm definitely not trusting God. And that does not feel good to me. And so I've learned now that worry is unnecessary. It doesn't mean it'll ever stop, because it's just it's kind of like a little red flag or a little neon light like flashing at you, like, hey, we're gonna look at this. There's not such a good feeling here, but it's really just showing me where I can bring in a deeper level of trust with myself and with God, and know that I'm going to be guided through whatever it is, because God will always lead you through whatever obstacle is coming up. But anything that you're worrying about, as long as you surrender and go to God and move through your inner work, He will help you move through it. And then last but not least, we have surrender to the wonder and awe. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. All right. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. Yeah, so this card talks about really being in every moment, really being present with everything that comes up in your daily life, your day-to-day situations, whatever like life just comes up, of really just being in every moment, being very present with how you feel. You are meant to always feel good. And if something does not feel good, it is safe to feel through it in that moment. One of the things that I'm personally grounding and really learning and healing is to not put off doing my inner work, or not putting off feeling good. If something is coming up in that moment, it's safe for me to take a few moments to feel my feelings, do my inner work, make a new choice there, love myself there, and choose to feel good. We are created to feel good. We're created to love. And so really surrender to the wonder and awe of who you are as a divine being, because you are divine, and understanding that life is meant to work in your favor, that you are worthy and enough to have everything that you truly desire, and to have your heaven on earth. And really just surrender to the wonder of life, and just the magic that can occur when you choose to see the truth that only love is real, and allowing yourself to really embrace that truth. And that is today's reading. I hope you enjoy the rest of the sermon. Have a blessed day.
Hello and welcome to today's Sunday service. We are Twin Flames in Union, Paco and Deb, and we are here to introduce today's sermon by Carmel on how to purify relationships. So let's get started.
Yes.
Do you like have
Let's
anything to
start.
share? If not, I can go. Yeah, okay. I love the topic, and Carmel shared very powerful and beautiful insights in regards to the process of getting clear on our core values and what we cherish in a relationship. And this is something that we've also been working at, how to get clear on those relationships. As I was listening to Carmel, I was remembering a lot of kind of like how was my life before and after this body of work, and how will I approach relationships with others. And I will see
Exactly.
this that she mentions about getting clear on our core values. It's really important to be really, like, again, clear on which are the people that we are inviting in, what are we accepting in our reality in those relationships, whichever these relationships might be. And yeah, it was interesting kind of like process to see that unfold. But yeah, I feel like you should.
I love the quote Carmel shares from the Icarus Twin Flames, Dreams Coming True. You will hear it then in the sermon. And I made this Icarus two times. And with this one lesson, it helped me a lot in getting clear in my relationships I had at that time. And it was here also a process. Like Carmel shared, it's a process where you get clear, do you like to be treated that way anymore or not? Or like she also shared that she realized she had relationships with people where she was avoiding something that felt off and not good in this relationship. And she kind of got high from other areas she had in a relationship with these people. And in truth, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy is when in a relationship there can be honesty, and where you can be truly how you are, and the person in front of you the same. And that is very humbling listening to her words, because it was so honest what she's sharing here. And I feel that it was very, she's kind of also sharing that she masters this now, this relationship, having healthy relationships. And it was so wonderful to hear, as she shared, she never was really able to feel good in relationships, and that she already healed here a lot, and it is so important for her to share this with us. It's so valuable to have healthy relationships, and how important it is. And I'm very thankful that I can listen to her experiences what she healed already in her life in relationship, and that she shows us that also this is a process and it is getting better and better.
Yeah, I was like resonating with it as she was moving forward with the sermon as well. And I like that she also brings up the importance of relationships, like they are the core of our life experience, everything. And this is also something that Jeff and Shaleia teach throughout all of Twin Flame Ascension School and Life Purpose class. That is, we are always having a relationship with everything, including ourselves first and everything around us. So
With life itself?
Yeah, like getting really clear on how we want to approach like life or this relationship, this aspect of our lives, and having like, again, those core values very clear, even if written down if it's necessary, and see what matches that energy and what not. And being open to having those relationships be revealed. And like she was mentioning, this kind of like ebb and flow in relationships. Not every people that you know it's gonna stay there, or not every relationship it's gonna be the same after 10 years. Like you are supposed to change and grow and evolve, and it's natural for people to fall out of your reality as new people will come in. And this reminded me a lot of my own experience with the community as well. I always found it very interesting, and Carmel's sermons was reminding me of that. It's the clearer I got in certain relationships in my life, and I was letting go of them. At the same time, I was finding in the community a place where I can actually be myself and be honored where I'm at in my journey, where I meet people that share the same values, the same core divine values. And they also kind of like look for almost the same things that I do, which is kind of like growing and learning from each other and being our best versions. That's kind of like the part that I resonate with.
Love, God.
Yeah, exactly.
Peace.
Yeah, to me it's like growth, like being able to grow. And I also resonated with her experience as she was sharing it. Prior to this body of work, a lot of times I will feel like I have to hide parts of myself to be in a relationship. And I did the same as Papa was sharing, and Carmel was saying in the sermon too. Sometimes we do this, we kind of get high of the pieces that feel good, not to see the kind of like red flags that the relationship is showing.
Exactly.
And it's okay to honor where two paths kind of like open up and we go our separate ways. And
exactly,
it is safe to kind of release that and see what life brings about. Sometimes some people come back in a more juicy or healthier way, and some people not, and that's fine too, because it kind of makes room for what you actually desire and helps you build the life that you want. And of course this includes the relationships that you want to invite in. So
so relax and enjoy a wonderful sermon from Carmel.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Carmel. Let's begin with our 3 opening Oms, followed by our opening prayer. You can say out loud or mentally. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today, I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen. Today I wanted to talk about purifying your relationship with God, and mainly around purifying your relationship with God through the relationships you have in your life. And so mainly I'll be sharing the tools and the teachings and the processes of unionism that I've used and embodied to help purify my relationships in my life. And so I wanted to start off with one of the fundamental parts of unionism is like core values and getting clear on your core values. And so I've gotten the dictionary definition of core and values. And the definition of core is a central and often foundational part, usually distinct from the enveloping part by a difference in nature. And the definition of values is something such as a principle or quality, intrinsically valuable or desirable. And so in a whole, it's a foundational part of you, such as a principle or quality that's intrinsically valuable to you. And getting clear on your core values in regards to getting clear on your relationships in your life is really genius, and it's really it works so well that it's fundamentally a science, right? Because those who have the same core values as you will naturally be in harmony with, and you will naturally have you'll naturally be able to relate to them and grow with them and expand with them naturally, and it'll be good, and it'll be a giving relationship. The relationship will give to you. And so a huge part of me ensuring that I have only good and God-centered relationships in my life was a matter of reflecting on my core values and looking at the core values of people that were surrounding me, of people that I was relating to, investing my energy into. And from that place, you're able to get clear on whether there can be a relationship, or you can also get clear on how much you can and should or feels good to invest into that relationship. And so if you want to manage your energy in a healthy way in your life, getting clear on your core values is really, really important. And so quite recently, I've had a lot of change in the relationships in my life. And I've looked and I've reflected, and I found a huge part of my life I was investing into relationships where these people, even though we were able to relate in some personalities or hobbies, at the core they were being led by not love. They were following not love as their leader, right? And I, at the core, am choosing love as my leader. And so there was a reason why that relationship felt bad to invest into, even though I was attracted to it in many surface level ways, right? And so through this process, I was able to get clear and release that relationship. And all of that health and renewal was able to return to me after I released that relationship, right? And also getting clear on your core values, you're able to look around in your life and recognize the people who are on the same page as you and who want the same things as you. And you can go ahead and invest your energy into those relationships. Because those relationships are long term, and in many cases they can be eternal relationships if at the core you share, some really divine core values. You can really come together and create a beautiful life and be of benefit to each other in that space. So you can really see how getting clear on your core values is a huge part of purifying your relationship with God. And so another life-changing quote that came from Dreams Coming True, the Dreams Coming True e-course. It was from Lesson 11, Divine Relationship, and it is a healthy divine relationship is one where you can be your whole self and give of your whole self and receive appreciation for that. And someone else can be their whole self, their whole true selves, and express their whole true selves to you, and you appreciate that. That is the formula for a healthy divine relationship. And so again, most recently, I actually didn't know that I could have a life where I could be myself in my relationships. I thought that I had a misaligned belief or thought or pattern that it was normal to feel bad and feel closed off in relationships because, what I felt I couldn't share myself. But the core piece was me investing into unhealthy relationships where our values weren't aligned, right? And so once I heard this quote, it really clicked for me that I was able to look around in my life and be like, oh, this relationship, simply I can't be myself in it, and that's why it feels bad. And so I was able to let that relationship go. And so you can use this quote as the baseline for relationships in your life and know that, and give yourself permission and your standard to be that your standard in relationships should be to strive for relationships where you can only be your whole self and be appreciated for that. And you're also able to offer the space for the other person in return. And where I've really felt that I can be myself is really because these loving teachings about relationships, these mastered teachings about relationship, of course they're universal teachings from the one truth, but because this community is embodying that truth and sharing it with the world, and sharing is a part of it, acknowledging it, embodying it. It's really this community where I do feel safe that I can actually be myself and relax into my being because we share the same core values, right? And there's such a huge difference in finding and ensuring your relationships are in alignment with you in comparison to letting relationships be whatever they are and not getting clear. There's such a huge difference in your life between those two examples, right? And so it's really important to get clear on your relationships. And I'll extrapolate upon that a bit more soon. And so another quote from a divine master, Paramahansa Yogananda, that's helped me get very clear and purify my relationships is, she says, don't mix with others too closely. Friendships do not satisfy us unless they are rooted in mutual love for the Lord. our human wish for loving understanding from others is in reality the soul's desire for unity with God. The more we seek to satisfy that desire outwardly, the less likely we are to find the divine companion. And so this quote really helped me in establishing boundaries within myself and boundaries within my mind in relationships. Because you really want to be real with yourself in every relationship. You want to create the space for yourself to get clear on the core of the relationship to ensure its health. What this quote helped me realize is the good that I seek is always from God, and it's never actually the person. It's from having established a healthy relationship with God and yourself. And one of, I guess, the unhealthy patterns that I had, which I can bring awareness to for healing, is that I was avoiding the truth of the relationship and getting high off other areas of the relationship. And from that high, I was actually avoiding what didn't feel good in the relationship. And so I wasn't putting God first in that relationship. I was putting ego first, like a pleasure first, instead of a sustainable good feeling. And so when you are able to ensure God first in your relationships, you can release those unhealthy patterns in relationships. And again, yes, it really comes back to having boundaries with yourself and letting boundaries in that space. And in any place that you're feeling lack and trying to get sourced up, like get the source from outside of you, loving yourself in that place so that you no longer seek your good outside of you and instead from God, and letting God lead your relationships in your life. And so what happens in your life when you get clear on your relationships and you purify them and align them with the good in your heart and the good of God? Well, what I have experienced majorly is a whole lot of reassurance return to me, a whole lot of energy and like renewal return to me, a whole lot of joy, a whole lot of happiness, a whole lot of peace. And what it really is you're closing up your container with God to just you and God, and so God can really be vulnerable with you in that space, and you can really be vulnerable with God in that space. And so it's a really intimate and beautiful place to be when you ensure only God in your relationships in your life, because your relationships are just so crucial, and it's really important to acknowledge that your relationships really are fundamental to your life. It's really an establishment of your life. And so when you purify, when you make an effort to bring awareness and spiritual work to your relationships, it's a really good idea. It's really valuable, and it's really profitable for your life. And it's really foundational to your expansion. Because if you're leaking energy in relationships, then a lot of energy is going to be leaking in all areas of your life because of that toxic and unhealthy relationship. Because you're communicating to the universe through allowing this relationship that's okay, and that can happen to you in any area of your life, that energy or that exchange, whatever the pattern is that is not of God. And so is it really, let's going a bit deeper here, is it really that important to get clear on relationships in your life? Yeah, I cannot stress this enough. And it's something that I'm actually very passionate about because I know how profitable it is. And I've had to do a lot of work in this space. But I know it's something that I see a lot of value in. And so it's something that I choose to master is my relationships in my life. It's not something that you should just be like, oh, this person's, there's, things aren't working out between us. They're a little bit abusive and annoying, and maybe not annoying, like they're abusive, and but they don't take up much of my life and stuff like that. Like, that's not okay. A quote that I want to chuck in from the Divine Relationships e-course, lesson 11, Shaleia said, there's no scale of abuse. So any abuse is not okay in your relationships. So if there's any part of you that's, think it's okay to allow unhealthy relationships, look there and clear that, because it's an energy leak, and it's not valuing yourself, and it's like mistreating yourself, and you're not really claiming your worth in that space. And is it okay, is a question I'm asking myself, is it okay for relationships to change in your life? Yes, 100%. It's so okay and natural for relationships to flow and change in your life. I think one of there's like a rigid thought in consciousness that, in your life, your relationships just like stay the same from like high school to like, to like, yeah, your old age. But there's actually something like quite off about that. Well, maybe not if you've already mastered relationships. But the fact is that, and I learned this from Jeff, like, we are so created by God so uniquely, and so like universally different from one another as children of God, like so unique, that it's gonna be natural for us to, evolve and grow and change and flow in and out of each other's lives. When I tap in, it's kind of like there's like a bad smell if the relationship changes, or like there's something wrong if like a relationship ends, and it's just not true. It's actually quite natural and healthy to allow relationships to flow as they need to in your life, and to be completely not attached in that space, allowing the people in your life to be with God as they need to be with God, allowing you to be with God as you need to be with God, and letting God lead that relationship. And that's how you experience a really loving relationship. And so if you have that thought that like, well, you're controlling or clinging onto a relationship, when it just needs to like flow, just let the relationship flow and expand and grow and deepen in its divinity. So it is okay for relationships to evolve and change in your life. Okay. So that feels good. Give yourself permission to get clear on your relations in your life, and invest in that part of yourself, and let that area of your life give back to you from that investment. And so, let's finish with our closing prayer, followed by our closing alms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word, and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask, and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them, and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. Now for our closing omens. Thank you for listening, and namaste.
We hope you have enjoyed Carmel's sermon on purifying relationships. We certainly did as well. And like as a closing for today's sermon, I love that Carmel was very clear in kind of like these steps on how to purify our relationships and how to kind of like follow that process.
Yes.
And also kind of like this sense of safety in taking that route.
Yeah.
And getting really clear and finding out, is this people like meeting you halfway or not? Because every relationship should be kind of like met halfway and be able to go deeper from there. I don't know if you have any insights that you want to share. I kind of like feel very complete. I like Carmel is always very to the point and very clear in her message. So thank you, Carmel, for this wonderful sermon. And
if you would like to see past sermons, meditations, and also our music or card readings, please visit our website unionism.org. And you can also subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our Sunday service. And when you like this sermon, please just
give a thumbs up.
Yeah.
The like button.
Yeah. And if you would like to discuss now with us about this sermon, please join us for our after church tea time on our open forum on Facebook for the Church of Union.
Our after church tea time. We can gather up, tea in hand, and keep discussing this topic. And before we forget, we also invite you to donate or tithe to the Church of Union so that we can keep spreading its message all across the world. And we will see you in after tea. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in next Sunday services.
See you. Bye.